Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to be solving Principle of Accounts Paper 1 from May-June 2013, and this is variant 2. So let's get started. Multiple choice number 1. A trader prepares financial statements each year. What do these assist the trader to do? So basically, how financial statements help. That's the question. How financial statements prepare a trader in his day-to-day business. So let's read through the options. Option 8, calculate the amount owing to creditors. Yes, this is possible. Calculate the cash drawings. Yes, this is possible too. Check the bank statement balance. This is possible too. Lastly, make decisions about the future. The answer to multiple choice 1 is option D, because this is the most correct, the most close option. That's the main purpose of financial statements in general. Option A, B, and C are more specific to a certain type of financial statement. So for example, all of these things can be followed from balance sheet. Now, balance sheet is a type of a financial statement, not complete set of financial statements. In this question, we are concerned about complete set of financial statements, how complete set of financial statements help, and therefore the answer is actually D. Financial statements help a trader to make decisions about the future. Multiple choice 2. What is the accounting equation? We know accounting equation is assets equal to liabilities plus equity, but of course we could have several other forms like asset minus liabilities equals to equity, or asset minus equity equals to liability. So these are three different, you can write the equation in 3 different formats basically. So let's see which one matches. Capital equals, so this is actually wrong. Capital, this is wrong as well. Capital equals to asset minus liabilities, yes. So therefore the answer to multiple choice 2, therefore the answer to multiple choice 2 is option C. Multiple choice 3, which is recorded in the sales ledger. So which is recorded in the sales ledger, not cash sales. It's actually answer option C. That the correct answer to multiple choice 3 is option C. Check received from a debtor. This has nothing to do with sales ledger as well, and this is a sale of non-current assets again. So if you just go through the options here, it's very apparent. The answer is option C for multiple choice 3. Multiple choice 4. A customer received an invoice of 98 for goods priced at $88. Which document will customer use to inform the supplier of this error? So which document customer will send to the seller or supplier? And if you just go through the options, it's actually option B. We do not send credit note. Credit note is actually sent by the buyer to the purchaser, by the seller to the purchaser, by the seller to the purchaser, seller to the purchaser. Receipt is when the goods have been sold, and the payment has been received. That's when a receipt is issued. And statement of account is just a summary of all transactions. So if you know the definitions of what each term means, it's a very easy question. So answer to multiple choice 4 is option B. Multiple choice 5. Where is the total of purchases general posted? The total of purchases journal. So the total of purchases journal is actually posted on the debit side of the purchases account. Debit side of the purchases account. So answer to multiple choice 5 is option D. Sue allowed Jane a discount for prompt payment. How would this be recorded in Jane's book? So first you need to understand who is who. So Sue and Jane, these are the two parties. We need to see the journal entry from Jane's perspective, Sue gave the discount. So for Sue, this is discount allowed, and for Jane, this is discount received. Discount received is credited. So if you just go through the option, it's actually, it gives you away. So the answer to multiple choice 6 is option D. Sue is going to be debited. And then discount received is going to be credit. Multiple choice 7. A business bank statement showed an overdraft of 8,500. So that's negative 8,500. A check of 400 paid to a supplier has not been presented for payment. What will be the balance on bank statement after this check has been paid by the bank? So that would be minus 800, further minus of 400, that would be negative 8,900, negative 8,900. So the answer to multiple choice 7 is actually option D, negative 8,900 on the debit side. The following partly completed account appeared in Edward's sales ledger. On 30th January, Anne paid 10,000 by check and was given a cash discount of 200, which is the correct on 31st January. So this is Anne's account in Edward's ledger. So what is Anne? Anne is actually an accounts receivable. If we look at the transactions here, there's sales that occur. So Edward sold goods to Anne on Jan 4th for 21,500, and then there was a sales return of 500. So actually the total sale amount, or let's say the net sale figure, is 21,000. And then N paid 10,000 minus the 200. So N actually paid 9,800. So 21,000 minus 9,800, 21,000 minus 9,800, we get a figure of 10,800. So basically the answer to multiple choice 8 is option A. Anne owes Edward 10,800 and still has to pay Edward 10,800. So therefore the answer to multiple choice 8 is option A. Multiple choice 9. A business discovers that cash received from Abdul, a credit customer, has been recorded as cash sale. So what has happened? How can this be corrected? So what has happened is somehow the company has recorded debit accounts receivable, that is Abdul, and then credit sale. We need to correct this entry. So in order to correct this entry, we need to reverse this entry. In other words, debit sale and credit Abdul. So the answer to multiple choice 9 is option B. Multiple choice 10. What is a trial balance? It is a list of a balance on business's books on a certain date. That's it. It's given right up. It's option A. The answer to multiple choice 10 is actually option A. And this is it's a repetitive question. It's a repetitive question. If you're following my series, you would have seen this question appearing again and again. Multiple choice 11. On 1st January 2012, Ahmad received rent receivable account. Ahmad's rent receivable account had a credit balance of 160. So this is rent receivable account. So basically this is an income nature account, and therefore it has a credit balance of 160. On 31st December, he transferred 1800 from the rent receivable account to the income statement. So what happened? He transferred 1800, that is, he reduced from the rent receivable account, he transferred, so therefore this would be on the debit side. And then on 1st January 2013, the rent receivable account had a credit balance of 90. So it had a brought forward of 90, so therefore it would have a carried forward on the debit side, right? Carried forward on the debit side. How much rent did Ahmed receive in 2012? So this rent is going to be here on the credit side, this X number. So how do you calculate this X number? It would be 1800 plus 90 minus 60. If you solve this, you would get an answer of 1730. 1730. Yeah, 1730. So the answer to multiple choice 11 is option B. Multiple choice 12. Bashir maintains a provision for doubtful debts of 3%. So that's the rate of provision of the trade receivables at the end of year. On 31st December 2011, trade receivables amounted to 70,000. On 31st December 2012, trade receivables amounted to 73,000. Which double entry should Bashir make on 31st December 2012? So it's asking for provision entry on 31st December 2012. So you have to calculate the provision for 2011 first and then for 2012. How to calculate the provision? That would be 70,000, which is the accounts receivable or the trade receivable amount of 70,000 times 0.03 or 3%, that's 2,100. And then 73,000, which is accounts receivable or trade receivables at 2012, times the same rate, 0.03, and that comes to 2190. So your balance for provision at the end of 2012 should be 2190. If you prepare a provision account, your balance would start with 2100 from 2011, and then this should be 2190. You see there has been an increase from 2011 to 2012, and the increase is of $90. The adjusting entry for provision will be based on this changed amount, right? This has increased. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 12 is actually option A. Since this is an expense, income statement debit and then credit accounts or allowance provision for doubtful debts by the amount of $90. So answer to multiple choice 12 is option A. Multiple choice 13. Candy purchased a motor vehicle. She also paid for cost of delivering the vehicle, insurance, and fuel for the vehicle, which would be included in Candy's income statement. So you have to pay attention so basically Candy bought a motor vehicle and she incurred few expenses. What were those expenses? Those expenses were cost of delivery, insurance, and then fuel. This is an expense which will appear on balance sheet, but these two expenses, they would appear on income statement. And that's what the question is asking. That's exactly what question is asking. Therefore, if you just search through the options, the answer to multiple choice 13 is actually option D. Multiple choice 14. A computer network costing $100,000 is depreciated by straight line method at 25% per annum. What will be the net book value? Net book value, not the depreciation expense, net book value at year end 3. So two keywords here, net book value and year 3. What is net book value? Net book value is the difference between cost minus the accumulated depreciation. In this case, depreciation calculation is very straightforward because it's based on straight line method. So 100% and 100,000 times 0.25 or 25% times the number of years, that is 3 years. This will give you the depreciation expense as 75,000. The cost, now you will use this formula of net book value. The cost was 100,000. The accumulated depreciation until year end 3 is 75,000. Therefore, the net book value at year end 3 would be 25,000. Hence, the answer to multiple choice 14 is option B. Multiple choice 15. James was late paying an invoice issued by Henry. So Henry issued an invoice to James. Who is Henry? Henry is the seller. James is the trade receivable or the buyer or the purchaser, which Henry charged James interest on the overdue account. So since James did not pay, Henry charged some interest on that amount. In other words, now Henry has to receive more money from James, or James has to pay more money. Which entry would be made in Henry's control accounts? Which entry? So the control account in Henry's would be sales ledger control account, right? Sales ledger control account. So you can immediately cross off these purchases once. So it's either B or D. Henry has to receive more. James has to pay more, right? We are asking from Henry's perspective. Henry has to receive more. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 15 is going to be option D, debit sales ledger control account. Because how do you increase your trade receivables? You debit them, right? You always debit them. Trade receivables are debited. Multiple choice 16. Fatima opened a department store on 1st January 2012. She provided the following information on 31st December 2012. At 31st December 2012, inventory was valued at 16,000, of which 75% depart to Department X. So 16,000 times 0.75 is for Department X. 16,000 times 0.25 is for Department Y. And this is the value for ending inventory. What was the gross profit of Department Y? We need to calculate gross profit for Department Y. What is the formula for gross profit? Formula for gross profit is sales minus cost of goods sold. How do you calculate cost of goods sold? That's opening inventory plus purchases minus the closing inventory. What are sales? In this case, for Department Y, sales are going to be actually 60 minus 8,000. The net sales are going to be 60,000 minus 8,000, that is 52,000. 52,000 is my net sales. 52,000 is my net sales. Now I need to calculate the cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold would be opening inventory plus purchases minus closing inventory. Since Fatima opened this department store very newly, there is no opening inventory. It's only purchases minus the closing inventory. How much Department Y has purchased? Department Y purchased 40,000 minus the closing inventory. That's 16,000 times 0.25. 16 times 0.25 gives me a figure of 4,000. So Y is 4,000. So therefore X, even though we are not concerned about X in here, but X, how much X is going to be? X is going to be 12,000, because the total has to be 16,000, right? So 40,000 minus 4,000 is 56,000. So 52. It's not 56. Sorry, that's 36,000. So 52,000 minus 36,000, and that will give us the gross profit. That will give us the gross profit. That will give us the gross profit of 16,000. So the answer to multiple choice 16 is option B, 16,000. Multiple choice 17. Which statement describes a non-current asset? It is acquired for use rather than resale. The answer to multiple choice 17 is B. You acquire an asset, a non-current asset, but you do not want to resell it. You want to have to use it in the business to generate more revenue. It is not a short-term asset. It is not even its value is not frequently changing. It's reported at historical cost unless you opt for fair value. And then, of course, it's not easily converted into cash. So answer to multiple choice 70 is option B. Multiple choice 18. Khalid sells two types of goods. He provided the following information at the end of his financial year. Type of goods are X and Y. What was the value of Khaled's inventory? So we need to take the value. Now, first thing first, let's look at the table. So in the table, we have number of units 10 and 30. For X 10, and then for Y, we have 30 units. What is the total cost? Total cost for X is 960, and total cost for Y is 1500. Selling price per unit 950, and then 2100. If you remember inventory to value inventory valuation is lower of cost or NRV, net realizable value, which is in this case is the selling price. So for product X, the total cost is 960, but the selling price is 950. So you cannot have a cost of inventory. The value of the inventory is going to be 950 per unit rather than 960. So for total inventory value for X, it's going to be 10 times 950, and for Y, let's look at Y at 1500 and 2100. So of course you will take 1500 because that's lower of cost, right? Lower of cost or NRV. So 30 times 1500, and if you do the math in here, that gives me an answer of 54,500. So the answer to multiple choice 18 is actually option C, 54,500. Multiple choice 19. Melissa made payments to the following suppliers. Which suppliers is a service business? So we have to identify which supplier is a service business. Which supplier is a service business, right? A service business, just let's look at the reason of the payment. Motor insurance, that's actually a service. Car radio, this is selling a good. Car radio, see, car radio, that's a tangible good. Motor vehicle, that's a tangible good. Petrol, that is again a tangible good. It's a tangible good. You can see petrol, you can feel petrol. But insurance, so therefore the answer, insurance is a service business. This name of the business, I'm an insurance company. The answer to multiple choice 19 is option A. Multiple choice 20. A trader took goods for her own use. How should this be recorded? Now, this is basically asking an entry for drawings. So this is a very relatively basic question, I would say. The entry is usually debit drawings, and then credit purchases. So we just need to search for these options. And actually it's here, it's the first one. So answer to multiple choice 20 is option A. Multiple choice 21. X and Y are in partnership, sharing profit and losses equally. So that means 50-50. The following information was extracted from their financial records at 31st December. Okay, the profit for the year was 24,000. What was Y's share of the residual profit? So residual profit, you have to be careful about Y's share of the residual profit. So profit is actually 24,200. We will deduct 1,300, 1,100 minus the salary of 4,000. And I would have some number here, X dollars, and then this X dollar will be multiplied by 50%. So if you do the maths in here, if you do this maths, the answer should be 8,900. I'm not going to answer it here. It's for your practice. As I said, if you have been following my videos, I hope these videos have been helpful to you. Accounting is about practice. So you have to do this practice, right? You have to do this practice. So you should calculate this number. I'm giving you the rationale in here. And if you follow this rationale, you should come to this number as, which is the answer for multiple choice 21, that is 8,900. Multiple choice 22. A social club was formed on 1st January 2012. During the year ended 31st December 2012, members paid subscriptions totaling 1,800. Subscriptions outstanding at 31st December 2012 are 300. No subscriptions were paid in advance. How much was entered for subscription and receipts and payment account and the income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st December 2012? So for income and expenditure, it's actually going to be the whole amount, 1,800 plus the 300, that is 2,100. So if you see for income and expenditure, it's only C or D, right? So we immediately come to 50-50 options, 50-50 options here. Now we need to see whether it's C or D. So for receipts and payments, it's like the cash flow statement where you only report the current year information. Only the current year information. For receipts and payments, the actual money that you receive, the actual money received was 1,800, right? Not 2,100, because 300 is still in arrears. Someone has to still pay those $300. So the answer to multiple choice 22 is option C. Carnell does not keep a full set of accounting records, which is not used to calculate his total credit sales, Is actually provision for doubtful debts. The answer to multiple choice 23 is option C. Multiple choice 24. At the end of the first year of trading, Sinola Limited transferred $10,000 to General Reserve. In which of the company's financial statements will this be shown? Balance sheet, definitely yes. On the balance sheet, yes. So we are immediately down to 50-50 again. Now we need to see profit and loss. Yes, it will be shown in profit and loss as well. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 24 is option B. It will not be shown. The general reserve amount is never shown in income statements. Of course, it's not over there. So the answer to multiple choice 24 is option B. Multiple choice 25. OSU Limited was formed with an authorized share capital of 1 million ordinary shares at 0.8 or 8 cents each. It issued 60% of these on 1st April 2013, with half the value being paid immediately and half to be paid a year later. What was the value of the issued capital and called up capital on 1st April 2013? So 1 million times 60% was issued. That means 600,000 shares were issued. It had a value of 8 cents. That means it has an issued share capital of 480,000. Issued share capital of 480,000. Again, it's either B or C. It's not A or D. We are at 50-50. Now, the question also says half of which is going to be paid immediately and half has to be paid later. Half has to be paid later. So half of 480,000 is actually 240,000. So 240,000 is the called up capital. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 25 is option B. Multiple choice 26. How is the cost of production calculated? Direct, yes. Direct labor, yes. Direct expenses, yes. Factory overheads, yes. It is tempting now that I should say the answer to multiple choice 26 is actually A, but let's see whether it could be B, C, or D or not. Direct material, yes. Direct labor, yes. Direct expenses, yes. Indirect labor, but it's incomplete because then we have factory overheads as well. So no. Direct material, direct labor, factory overheads, but it's missing direct expenses. It's missing direct expenses. Direct material, direct labor, indirect labor. Then again, it's missing direct expenses plus the factory overheads. So it has been missing. It has been missing some numbers over there. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 26 is option A. On 28th February, the statutory deductions account had a credit balance of 2,700. Statutory deductions during March amounted to $1,800. The amount due for statutory deductions was paid on 31st March. Which entries should be made on 31st March? So on 28th Feb, the company has a balance of 2,700. And then for March, there's an extra amount of 1,800. That makes it to 4,500. Now we have paid this, so it would be debit statutory, and then credit the bank. The answer to multiple choice 27 is option D. This is fairly, I would say fairly easy if you can just sum up the numbers and know the basic journal entry rules. So the answer to multiple choice 27 is option D. Multiple choice 28, which is used to calculate the current ratio, but not quick ratio. So again, I would say this is repetitive question. If you have been following my series, I hope you have been. You would have seen these questions are repeating themselves. So, and if you remember the formulas, they are fairly easy, I would say. The answer to multiple choice 28 is actually option C. Inventory is not used to calculate the quick ratio. Multiple choice 29 and 30, if you see, they both are from accounting principles. In other words, I would like to highlight the importance of accounting principles. You will always see at the end either 1 to 2 questions on accounting principles. So knowing accounting principles is clearly important. The financial statements of, let's look at the multiple choice 29. The financial statements of a trader include wages paid to employees. The skill and expertise, the employee is not included. Which principle is being applied? That is actually money measurement. We cannot measure an employee skill. It's hard to measure an employee skill. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 29 is option D. Multiple choice 30. A business depreciated machinery using straight line method in year 1 and the diminishing balance method in year 2. So SLM for year 1, and then reducing balance method, for year 2, or the double declining method, also known as double declining method. So that's actually, the answer here is actually option A, consistency, because you are changing, the company is changing from one method to another. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 30 is option A. you are reducing the consistency of your, by changing policies, you're affecting the consistency of your financial statements. The answer to multiple choice 30 is option A. I hope you have found this video useful. If you have found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. Thank you very much.